KVAL's Gold Meadows was at that press conference, has been covering this story throughout the day today. Well, now she is at Eugene City Hall with Eugene's mayor, Eugene Knudson. Gold, what's the mayor's reaction?
Well, we are just now getting in touch with the mayor, who says she's going to be sharing more about this tonight during the public comment period during the city council meeting. And I have Mayor Eugene Knudson here with me right now. Thank you so much for joining us. My first question is your initial reaction. When you saw this footage and heard what was being said, what did you initially think?
My initial reaction, I think, was quite consistent with people all across our community. Extraordinarily infuriating, deeply disappointing to see and hear both the content of this conversation that this now former officer was having, but also the very casual way in which he was having such an offensive conversation. And I think anyone who hears someone speak easily about such racist and discriminatory thoughts is disturbed by that if you're paying attention. And in this case, I just think that what was said and what was recorded and that we have ample evidence of is behavior and a perspective that has no place serving our city and certainly no place in our police department.
Now, what should happen in the case that this investigation that's ongoing with the police auditor shows that there were other people who knew about this audio? What consequences should occur?
Well, this is exactly why we have an independent police auditor. This is a circumstance and a strength that we have in our community that was put in place in 2005 by the voters of Eugene, and it is entirely a system meant to assure that transparency and integrity and accountability exist in our community policing efforts. So I and our city council, but the rest of our community, will look forward to that full investigation by our independent police auditor being completed. I did hear just a short while ago that the initial indications are that this former officer's conversation that was recorded was with some of his former colleagues believed to be in the state of Utah and not people within our police department or local community members. But I do think that this is why we do investigations, is to get to the bottom of what occurred and to make sure that we have the information and that we share that publicly and that we do the work of repairing and addressing systems that need attention.
You know, trust was a big word that kept being floated around all day today throughout our interviews. How do you gain that trust from communities of color that are looking at this situation and they're fearful, they're concerned, they're worried?
That will be a process, and it will be a process that will involve not just the mayor of Eugene, myself, but many other leaders within our organization and across this community. The work of repair from a circumstance like this, the investigation is a big part of that, but that's not the only work that we have to do as a community. We can do much more to address relationships and awareness, but also really look deeply at our policies and culture. I think one of the things that our police chief just said earlier in a press conference was the commitment to the review of all of the information that led to this individual being employed within our department, but also, to go back and look at for any other indications in systems that, quite frankly, we would think are designed to catch exactly this type of behavior or this predisposition. So it will be a process for us to do that work, but I am deeply committed to this work. I care deeply about people within our community feeling safe and a part of our community in a way that is sincere. And moments like this do feel like a breach of trust because the person who was espousing these perspectives and speaking in such an offensive and derogatory and dehumanizing way is a person that we had entrusted in a really deep way. And so we have to take that as seriously as we possibly can.
During the press conference today, Chief Skinner said that there are thousands of hours of footage, body cam footage, they couldn't possibly get through. How do we have more city government supervision?
That's a great question, and we as a community, I speak with mayors all over the country about the work that we have done in our community in public safety, and the creation of the Auditor's Office and the Civilian Review Board are two obvious and important components of that transparency and accountability assurance and integrity of the work. But I think that the questions that have been raised through this process is going to require us to dig in and ask more questions about how it is that we do ensure that these types of this type of circumstance never happens again, and that we don't support a culture in which it could even be a possibility to happen again. So there's the commitment, I know, of our leadership within the city, city council, of our independent auditor, also of our chief. I've also heard from our police union president, and of course people who are working every day and seeking to build public trust and serve the community are also deeply disturbed by what they saw represented and by the harms that they know that does in our community. So we have a lot of work ahead of us, and we're going to have to figure out how we can do more to make sure that something like this never happens again.
Thank you so much, Mayor Knudson. Well, you heard from the mayor now on her perspective, that question you asked me, Kendall, and we're here live at City Hall. I'm sending it back to you in the newsroom.
All right, thank you so much for that interview, Gold. Now, Gold.